This conference will now be recorded.
So that's how you add the user. And yesterday we have created a pipeline. Basically, what does a pipeline will do? Hmm? Why we use pipelines? First point, to make the regular things automated, we use pipelines. What is inside the pipeline? Tasks. Why do we use tasks? Whatever we want to achieve, we are going to mention in the pipelines as a tasks. Okay. What are the two tasks that you have used so far? Copy files and publish, build artifacts. Why we use publish? To get the output in the pipelines, we use publish artifacts. Okay. Each and every time I run the pipeline, what happens? A new VM will be created for you, and then once after the creation is done, once after the running is done, it is going to be destroyed. Is it possible for you to log in into that system? No. Fine. Each and every time when I'm running the pipeline, I'm saying that it is going to create a VM in the background, and it is going to be destroyed. A VM in the sense it will be having an operating system, right? What kind of operating system does it have? As of now, we do not know. We are running and it is running. We are just running the pipeline and it is getting created and it is destroyed. So let's see that. So if you go to this pipeline here, build pipeline, here you are giving the project name of the pipeline, and then you are selecting the agent pool as Azure pipelines, and a default is there. In that, I'm going to select only Azure pipelines. And if you see the agent specification, you have Windows. Like that, you will be having three operating system: Mac, Ubuntu, and Windows. Whatever the kind of version that you want, you can select it from here. Okay, I can take the latest Windows 2022, Windows 2019, Visual Studio 2017 that is installed on Windows 2016, Ubuntu server, Mac OS. I can take any of this, but as of now what I want you to understand is just keep it as a Windows machine. In Windows, we will be having C drive, right? And in C drive we will be having some locations. Okay. So when I am running these pipelines, and if you see here, I have used this source folder as this. What do you mean? What do you mean by this? It is a variable. First point. What is the value that is there in this variable? I want to know. And if you see here, we have one more variable, and there will be some variable. There will be some value inside it, right? What is the value that is stored in these two variables? I want to know. If I just create the variable by myself and I store the value inside it, then it is a user defined variable. But did I create these variables? No, it was predefined. It was predefined. So that's why I'm going to call these as predefined variables. Now let's see about what is predefined variable. So I'm just going to go like this. How to make this search as a default one? I just want to make this as Windows. It is going for Bing, right? Each and every time I don't want to go for Bing. Go to settings, and where it should be. Help me with this. I'm not sure about this edge. Privacy and search, and clear browsing data, privacy, and do not run because diagnostics, optional, search and send. Okay. Start home and router. Okay, that is fine. I don't want to search, spend some time on this. Let me search for Bing. Here it's that's fine. I don't want to spend some more time on this like this. Each and every time I need to go for Google page, then it is going to cost me a lot of time. So what I'm going to do is I'll just open another browser and there I'll write a browser. I was saying predefined variables, right? Where did you use these predefined variables, in Azure DevOps or Azure? Okay. So predefined variables in Azure DevOps. User predefined variables. So click on this and just copy the variable names that we have. In this we have n number of variables. Out of this n number of variables, I want to find it only for two variables. So I'll just copy the variable from this pipeline. Like this is the one, right? I'm just going to copy this one. I want to search for this name. And let me just go to this. And if you want to search for anything in the browser, what is the command for it? On this complete page, I want to search for a specific word. Control F followed by the paste. See the agent.build directory. What it is going to do? The local path on the agent where all folders for a given build pipeline are created. And the variable has the same value as pipeline.workspace. And if you see here, this is the location that is there in that variable. Understood? So slash home slash vsts slash work slash one. This is the location that is stored in this variable. I'm okay with this. Let me go with the another variable. Build.artifact staging directory is there, right? Copy this. And I want to search for the same thing here. If you want to switch between one tab to another tab, control tab. Sorry, alt tab. Okay. Build.artifact staging directory. The local path on the agent where any artifacts are copied to before being pushed to the destination. So before wherever you want to push, first if you want to put all the files in a separate location, you can make use of this build.artifact staging directory. And the location for it is C agent work slash one slash a. So this is the value that is stored in this variable. Okay. Now, now you know about what is the value that is stored in that variables. Whenever I run that pipeline, so the variables are there inside that, right? So these pipelines are going to be executed in where? The VM. Which VM? Windows VM I showed you. In that Windows VM, it is having these folders. So that's why it is able to perform the operation. Understood? Okay. So I have used these two, right? As of now, I have used these two. And there are like 10 to 15 variables will be there. Out of that, at least you should know 2 to 3. Go to those 2 to 3 is fine. I'm going to give you one more variable name, like that is going to be called as build.binaries. In the build.binaries directory, C agent works slash one slash B. Earlier it is slash A. Now it is slash B. These are some simple locations. If you want to make use of any locations, you can use these variables. These are predefined variables. You don't have to set the value for it. These are system generated, like these are the predefined variables. Okay. And see this. In this task, yesterday what we have done is whatever that is there in the repository, copy all the things from there, like star means everything. Keep it in which location? Build.artifact staging directory location. So now my all my files are stored in this location. Whatever that is stored in this location, I want to publish it. Understood how we are writing this? So whatever that is stored in this location, publish everything as a drop folder. And I want to see the output within the pipeline itself. So that's how we have written it. Now I have a requirement. Whatever the output that we are getting is it a zip file? Whatever the output that I am getting, is it a zip file or a normal folder? Okay, if you have the doubt, just go to the pipelines. This is the pipeline, right? Click on the latest run and you will be able to see one published. Click on this. It's a drop folder and inside that we have S folder and inside that we have the original code here. Okay. I want to get the output as a .zip format. Can I make it or not? If I ask you to do that as a .zip format, what you are going to do? First, you will download all the files and then you will compress it as a zip, and then you will send it to some other person. Is it manual or automated? Manual thing. So whenever I run the pipeline, I want to get the output as a zip itself. So how can we do this? Can we achieve it from the pipelines? Yeah, pipelines are used for automation, right? Like whatever the manual thing that you are doing, if you want to eliminate the manual process, then you need to go with the automation. Like by using pipelines, we can achieve automation. Now take this. I want to add a task, right? What I want to do, I want to get the zip file, right? Look for the task zip. In these two tasks, which one I need to add? Archive files or extract files? Okay, you want to extract the files. If you already have the zip file, then you can extract it. I don't have any zip file. I want to make it as a zip file. Archive. Compress the files into .7z, .gz or .zip. If you want to make these files as a zip file, then you need to make this as an archive file. Okay. Now tell me, if I just run it, like if you just go to this process, like if you just go to this step and you can see this is the display name. That is fine. What is the root file or root folder to archive? Is it the same location that I need to keep or some other location? I'll tell you. You have copied all the files from this location and kept it in which location? This location. Copy this location. Now you have all the files in this location, right? Go to this step and I want to archive the files which is in this location. Understood? Okay. What is the format that you want to make? Zip package. Okay. What is the folder that you want to create? See this. Whatever that is stored in the artifact staging directory, take all of them. And whenever I run the pipeline, yesterday you saw right, 2, 3, 4, randomly it is giving some number. It is going to create with that ID, build ID. So when I run the pipeline, it is going to be next time it is 5, next time 6, 6.zip, 5.zip, 7.zip, 8.zip, like that it is going to give me the output. This is fine. Now tell me whether the order that I have written is correct or not. In this step, I am copying the files, keeping it in where? This location. It is fine. And after that, I am publishing it. So it will publish what? Zip file? No. It will just produce the whatever it copied. And after that, I am trying to publish, and after that, I am trying to make it as a zip package. And after that, you need to publish, right? Without publishing, will you be able to see what is zipped? Now tell me what is the order for this? అర్థమవుతుందా? సింపుల్. ఇక్కడ కాపీ చేశాను, కాపీ ఫైల్స్ అయిపోయింది. ఒక లొకేషన్ పంపించిన తర్వాత దాన్ని ఏం చేశాను, బయటికి పబ్లిష్ చేసేసాను. చేసిన తర్వాత దాన్ని జిప్ చేశాను. మరి జిప్ చేసిన దాన్ని మీరు చూడాలా లేదా? సో జస్ట్ దీన్ని పైకి వేయండి. సో ఫస్ట్ కాపీ చేశారు, కాపీ చేసిన తర్వాత జిప్ చేశారు, జిప్ చేసిన దాన్ని పబ్లిష్ చేస్తున్నారు. అండర్స్టూడ్ ద ఆర్డర్, రైట్? So when you are first, what you need to do is first copy the files and then make it as a zip and then produce it as an output to me. Now just save this and queue this. Now it is now the run is 5, right? What will be the output of mine? 5.zip. So just click on this and wait for it. Acquiring an agent from the cloud. That means it is trying to get a VM from the cloud. Now see this. The VM name is LOJ6. Okay, that is fine. So first it will copy all the files and then it is going to archive it and then it is going to publish the artifact. So in the published artifact, we need to see whether the zip file is there or not. So let's wait for it. And it says that it is done. One artifact is produced, right? Click on this artifact. I have the drop folder and I'm able to see 5.zip. Now what I want you to do is, if I just expand this S folder, still I have the files. I don't want all these files. I want only the zip package. Now tell me where I need to make the change. Understood the point, right? Earlier we got only this. The zip file was not there. I added the zip file. I am able to get the zip file right now. But along with that, I am getting the older files also. I don't want this. I want only the zip package as the output. Just remove it here. Each and every time, are you going to remove it like this? No. I want the output only as a zip. I should not get this one also. As of now, it is just 2 MB. So that's why it is able to publish the output very fast. If it is 1 GB, it will take some time, right? At that time, what I need to do, I need to remove this 1 GB. Like I need to eliminate while publishing itself, I need to eliminate this. So now let's go to the artifact, like let's go to the pipeline and tell me where I need to make the change. So copying files, it is fine. It will copy that and paste it somewhere else. Okay. In the archive step, this is where you need to make the change, or this is where you need to make the change. Now tell me. So in the copy files, what I'm trying to do is take whatever that is there in the repository and keep everything in this location. If I don't keep everything in this location, I cannot make a zip file, right? Okay, this step no use for me. Let's go to archive. It is asking me in which folder you want me to archive. Whatever that is stored in the artifact staging directory, take everything and make it as a zip. And see this one. It is going to take everything that is there in this file directory and it is going to generate some ID and it is going to keep it as a zip. But if I do this, again I'm getting the S folder and again I'm getting the files. Now tell me what I need to do. Huh?
Three options is there. Replacement.
Replace existing archive. Okay. What it will do? It will replace the 5.zip and it is going to keep 6.zip.
Control options.
No, it won't be there in those. Just try to think. We have used the tasks, right? I will explain. కాపీ చేశారు, కాపీ చేసిన తర్వాత దాన్ని ఆర్కైవ్ చేశారు, ఆర్కైవ్ చేసిన తర్వాత పబ్లిష్ చేస్తే జిప్తో పాటు మీకు మిగతా వచ్చాయి. నాకు ఇప్పుడు జిప్ వద్దు, సార్ జిప్పే కావాలి, మిగతా వద్దు. ఐ డోంట్ వాంట్ ద అదర్ ఫైల్స్. Force? No. Again try to copy one more time. And this time when I'm trying to copy, see this. In the source folder I'm going to mention it as where is my zip package? Here, right? Copy. My zip package is here. The zip package is here in this location. If I keep star star, what happens? Now I want only what? Yeah, he is correct. Star dot zip. Understood. And you need to place that in different location, right? Where you want to place that. For this, you need to have one more variable, right? If I just use the only two variables, I cannot be able to achieve whatever I want. So that's why I am going to use build.binaries location, build.binaries directory. I will keep whatever the output that I want in this location. This is the final output for me. In this location, whatever I sell, that is the final output. So variables will start with dollar and it will be declared in braces. Now, is the order is going to be correct or something else? Now, where is my output? Understood the question, right? I copied everything and put it in this directory. And then in this directory, I have archived. Still, I am able to see the other than zip, I am able to see some other files. So that's why I went into the copy files. And in this location, I want only the zip package. Keep it in this location. That is fine. After that, I am using publish artifact. But publish artifact, which location I am just trying to publish? No, no, understand this. Okay, let me just take this. I'll just going to keep something like this is source, this is destination. So whatever the files that I have in here and moved it into build.artifact staging directory. And in here, along with the zip, I have other files. So that's why what I have done, I have kept one more location. In this location, when I am trying to copy from here to here, I just mentioned only zip package. So now where is my zip file? It is in this location, right? I want to publish the artifact in this location or this location. Last one, right? This is where I have the original output. So where is my output actually? It is in build.binaries directory. So I want to publish whatever that is there in the build.binaries directory. Understood it, or you want me to explain again? Understood, right? So just save this and queue this. Actually, I want you to practice this, but fine. The output will be 6.zip. Just wait for it. So once it copies, first it is going to check out the code from the GitHub, and then copying the files and then uploading the file, and finally we will get one output. And see this one drop folder. Understood? Earlier you thought that you delete that file in a manual way and send only the zip file. But now did we achieve the whatever we want? We achieved it, right? Like this we need to do the order you need to set up, and you just need to logically think what you need to do. Understood? So this way I can make use of the pipelines to make the automated things. Oh, this is fine. Each and every time I'm going to see that whatever the folder that I'm getting, like whatever the file name that I'm getting is 6.zip, 7.zip. I don't want it to be 6.zip or 7.zip. I want to make it something else. Where I want to make something like output.zip. The file name should be output.zip. Now tell me where I want to make the change. Edit the pipeline and go to which one? Which step I need to go? One second, is everybody in online? Variable name. Yeah, that is one point. Variable name in publish task. That we can do. I'm just asking for an easy way. Whatever that he has asked variable is right. It is right. But let's go with the manual process first. So which step I need to make the change? Where you are making the zip package? In which step? So this is where I'm getting the zip package, right? In the build.build ID, remove this. I don't want this build.build ID. Build.build ID means each and every time I build the pipeline, it is going to get an ID. That is the variable for it. I don't want build ID. I want output.zip. Now, am I going to get the correct output or not? Save this and run this. Okay. Now, I went into that particular pipeline and I modified that. I removed that variable name and I manually added my name output something. Let's consider a scenario, and I'm just going to write something like this. Okay. Ramesh is a good person. Ramesh lives in Hyderabad. Ramesh sings very well. So Ramesh is the person who is going, like, I have a person with the three lines. Same person. I mistakenly wrote the name as Ramesh. I want to change it to Mahesh. How many times you need to change?
Three times.
Three times. Okay. Again, you are going to change it as Mahesh, and keep it as Mahesh in the last line also. I have mistakenly written as Mahesh. It is Suresh actually. Again, how many times you need to make the change?
Three times.
If it is one or two, three times, you will manually change that. If this name is used in 100 times, what are you going to do? That is different. If you want to get the output, what is the name that is starting with star RA, that is fine. See, for example, I want to change the name from Mahesh to something Suresh. How many times you need to change? 3 times. If it is 100 times, you cannot change them manually, right? So what I will do is I will create a name is equals to something, and I'm going to make this as a variable. I'm going to keep the dollar name. That means it is a variable. What I want to store in this, let's keep the name as Suresh. So, or else just remove this. As of now, just remove this, and whatever I want to use is just copy this. Instead of Mahesh, I will keep the dollar name. Instead of Mahesh, I'm just keeping everywhere dollar name. I kept the dollar name. In here, if I just keep Suresh, it's in the dollar name value, in the dollar name variable, what is the value that is stored? Now, how many times I need to change?
Only one time.
Understood why we use variables? So earlier, whatever I have written output.zip is there, right? That is a like hard coding. Hard coding, that is one. Nobody uses the hard coding in the real time. Everybody uses the variables. Why? Because of these issues. You might be declaring that name in every day, not only in one file. You might be using that in n number of files. If you want the name to be changed in all the files, just change the variable itself, variable value. And now see this is done, and produce dot artifact is there, right? Output dot. Now I don't want to use this output dot, like I have hard coded it actually. Hard coded in the sense manually I have written it. I haven't used any variable. If I want to use the variable, can I use it? Yes, you can use it, but later on classes you will understand how to use the variables, or else let's try itself here itself. So edit the pipeline. Earlier I have just used manual way of writing the variable like value here directly. This is called hard coding. I want to use the variable, so you need to go to the variables. In this variable we have two kinds of variables, so just go with whatever it shows. First I want to add the variable. What is the name? Variable name is the variable name, and what is the value? Suresh is the value. Okay, I just created a variable, and now go to the archive step. Instead of output, what I need to write here? Dollar
Name.
name. If you are using pipelines, it should be declared under braces. Dollar name, something like this, and then save and queue this. See what is going to happen. It is going to give you the name of Suresh.zip. The output will be Suresh.zip. Okay. Now see this. It is getting an agent from the cloud. That means which VM I am getting? Windows VM. In Windows VM, do we have, this is my laptop, right? In this, Windows is the operating system that I'm using. We have command prompt, right? Yes. We have PowerShell, right? Yes. For this VM, we will be having one IP address also, right? How are you going to find the IP address of your VM or lab step?
Git host.
Okay, I'll tell you. This is the command line. If I want to find out my IP address, what is the command for it? ipconfig. ipconfig. If I do the ipconfig, it is going to give me the IP address of my local system, like 192.168.0.110. If I execute the same command in the VM that is given by Microsoft, is it going to work or not? They are also Windows only. But you cannot be able to log in into that VM, right? You cannot open the command prompt and you cannot do it, right? Then how can I make this to happen? I want to find out the IP address of that VM, which is running my pipeline task. How can I find it? Just think about it. See, you got the Suresh structure. In my local system, I am able to execute the command line. Like the same way, I want to execute the command prompt on that VM. Possible. Just guess any answer. Is it possible or not possible? క్వశ్చన్ అర్థమైంది కదా. ఇప్పుడు నా విండోస్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఉంది. దీంట్లో నేను ఏం చేస్తున్నాను, కమాండ్ ప్రాంప్ట్ ఓపెన్ చేసి ఐపీ కాన్ఫిగ్ రన్ చేస్తే నాకు ఐపీ అడ్రస్ వచ్చింది. ఇది విండోస్ కాబట్టి నాకు ఐపీ కాన్ఫిగ్ చేస్తే వచ్చింది. నా పైప్లైన్స్ ఎక్కడ రన్ అవుతున్నాయి, ఒక విఎంలో రన్ అవుతున్నాయి. ఆ విఎం రన్ అయిపోయి డిలీట్ అయిపోతుంది కాబట్టి నేను లాగిన్ అయ్యి కమాండ్ ప్రాంప్ట్ ఓపెన్ చేయలేను. అప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి, వాట్ ఎవర్ ఐ వాంట్ టు డూ ఇన్ దట్ విఎం, ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ టు క్రియేట్ ఇట్ యాజ్ అ టాస్క్. Now, what is the task that I am saying? Command prompt. You need to look for which task? Command prompt. So go to add this symbol. What do you want? Command line. Run a command line script using the bash or Linux or Mac OS and command.exe on Windows. This is the script. This is the step, right? Now I don't want all these things. I'm just going to disable the selector. I don't want to run these steps. If you don't want to run these steps, then you can make use of disable. This is the only one thing. And if you see here, why we use echo? To print whatever that is there after echo. And here, instead of hello world, I'm just going to keep it as version 19. I want to know the IP address of my system, right? What is the command that I have entered here? IP config. Execute the same thing here. IP config. Is it going to work or not? What do you think? Let's see. Now you understood, right? This command line task is going to be executed on VM and then it needs to get the output. Let's see. So you understood that each and every time I run the VM, it is going to give you a new VM. And see, now the VM name is different. Earlier it was something like AT. But see, LOJ6. So each and every time it is different, right? And see, after checking out the GitHub, what it has done, command line script. This is our task. And I'm able to see version 80, right? And after that, which command I have entered, IP config. This is the VM IP address. Fine, I'm able to get the same output like this. So whatever I want to achieve in that VM, anything you need to do by task only. In my local task, I have PowerShell. Since this is a Windows system, I have PowerShell installed in my local. I want to execute some PowerShell script on that VM. Where you need to do that? Comment. You need to add a task, right? What is the task that you need to do? See, PowerShell. PowerShell on target machine is different. PowerShell is different. This is what you need to select, right? You understood the point, like how we need to, why, how you are using the pipelines. Okay. Till this point, it is fine. I have taken an empty job and I am adding all the jobs whatever I want to create it. This is fine till now. Now what I am going to do was, I want to create one more pipeline. I want to build the original code. Yesterday I bought the code from somewhere else, right? I want to know whether the code is correct or not. Where is your code? Which one you want to use? Classic editor or this one? YAML. There are two ways to create the pipelines. One is by using YAML scripting. Second one by using classic editor. Forget about the YAML right now. Just go with the classic editor. Once you are familiar with the classic, then only you can go for YAML. And see, Azure repository, this is where I have my code and this is the project and master is the branch that I need to take. Continue. Now, yesterday, if you remember, we have searched for a keyword called ASP.NET Web Application. Now, see, out of these three tasks or four tasks, which one you want me to take? First one, or the third one, or the fourth one? Build and test an ASP.NET Web Application. This is like a desktop application, but we have taken the code for like a web application. Just add this. By default, it is going to give you the steps or not? Yes, these are the predefined template steps. For example, if my code is not .NET, if my code is Java, then what you need to do? Dot If my code is whatever the code that I have written is for Java application, I need to use which tool to build it? Maven. Maven is the build tool to use it. So see this, build and test a Java project with Apache Maven. Apply this. By default it has given the steps, right? So these are called as predefined templates. If you want to use them, you can use them. If you want to create on your own, you can go with the empty job and you can create it. Now the code that we have was already a .NET web application. I'm just going to apply this. So what is happening? First, see the steps. It is going to use NuGet installer. So that means a NuGet is going to be installed. Installed where? In that VM. Wherever this task is happening, in that VM, it is going to install NuGet. And then it is going to make use of restoring. Restore all the packages. What is NuGet and why we use it? It's a different point. First, understand the steps. First, it is installing the NuGet, and then it is restoring all of it. And then, what is the next step? It is going to build the solution. To build the solution, what is the build tool they are using? Visual Studio Build. And after that, they are testing. And after that, they are trying to publish the symbol paths. As of now, this one is not required, and this one is not required because we are not going to test anything. Even if you keep it, it is going to run. So as of now, I'm just going to disable these tasks. Fine, disable or remove anything is fine. So first, whenever I run this pipeline on the VM, first NuGet is going to be installed, and then it is going to restore. And in the third step, it is going to build the solution, and in the fourth step, it will publish the output. Fine, right? Okay. If I want to build the solution, on which file I need to build it? Dot .sl solution file. On top of the solution file, you need to build it. You will be having 2000 files or 3000 files. On those files, only one file you need to build it. You should not build on every file. So .sln you need to build it. So just click on the build solution. And what do you understand by this? Star star slash star dot sln. First understand like this. It is looking for what? Star dot sln. The name of the file can be anything, but the extension should be sln. What do you mean by slash? In any directory, like in any directory. What will be the directory name? Star star. Anything. In any whatever the file directory name will be, it should be anything. And inside that, I need to find .sln file. And what is the Visual Studio version that you want to use to build it? Latest version. And these are some build arguments. If you are trying to build the solution file, you should pass some arguments. See what it is there. Do you want to deploy it on build? Yes, true. Do you want to publish the method? I want to make it as a package. Package as a single file? Yes, I just want to keep the package as a single file. Skip the invalid configurations too. These are default things. You don't have to worry. Basically, who will take care of all these steps? No. As a DevOps engineer, you need to take care of all these steps, but these are the predefined things. A package location where the package is getting stored. See this. Build.artifact staging directory. This is where my package is going to be stored. Okay. And once it is stored in this location, what I am doing here, see, whatever that is stored in this location, publish as output. Fine, right? I haven't written the code. I haven't made any changes. I'm just going to save it and run it. So once you go with the agent job, and let's see. See again, it has taken the same VM. J69 LOJL, earlier I told you it. But basically what happens is a new VM will be created in the background and it is going to execute on that VM. See, first it is going to install NuGet on top of that, and then it is going to restore. And once it is restored, then it is going to build it. Once build it, it is going to publish it. Now, what is the output? If you remember, I have already told you If you build a .NET application, what is the output? Dot .sln is the output. Huh. Then what about .dll? Hmm? .dll is the output. .dll stands for Dynamic Link Library. Dynamic Link Library. See, I'm going to build it. How I'm going to build it? By using Visual Studio. Which file I need to build it? .sln file. Once you build it, what is the output that you are going to get? .dlls. Okay, so let's see. The building is done. It produced the output, right? How it is producing the output? Because we used a publish artifact task. That's why it produced. See this. As of now, you are able to see n number of things in this, right? Sample.web.zip. But what about the .dlls? It will be under this folder. So when the developers are writing the code, they will be mentioning where the DLLs will be stored. So it will be stored under this. So once you download it and extract it, and then you look for .dll extension, you will be able to find it. Yeah, till this point, it is fine. I'm able to take the code from the repository, and I'm able to build it, and I'm able to get the output. Let's consider in the repositories on the next day, the developer added one more file. Is he going to tell you to run the pipeline? Understand like this. The developer created one more file in the master branch, and whenever he make the code changes again, you need to build it or not? Yes. How can you build it again? He will send an email to you saying that please start the build pipeline. You will start it and you will get the latest output. Again, he added two more files. Again, he will send a mail saying that run it. Again, you run it. Is this the manual process or automated process? Manual. I want to run the pipelines whenever there is any change in the code. Understood? Whenever there is any change in the code, I want to run those pipelines automatically. How can we make it? So let's see. Go to your pipelines. This is my pipeline. This is my pipeline, right? Like if you go to pipelines, here you will be able to see the pipelines. This is the latest one that I was running right now. In this pipeline, I have already defined whatever the task that wants to perform. Each and every time you make the code change, it is going to execute all these tasks, and then it is going to give you the latest output. Till this point, it is fine. Now, what I am saying was, whenever there is a change in the code, immediately run this pipeline. How does it know when there is a code change there in the code? Like when there is a code change in the repository, how does it know? So that's what we need to do. If you go to trigger in the CI pipeline, if you go to trigger, there we will be having an option called enable continuous integration. So if you enable this continuous integration, what happens is whenever if there is any change in the master branch, directly this pipeline is going to run. I enabled this option, and then I have specified what is the branch that I need to look for. So look for master branch, and if there is any change in the master branch, immediately run this pipeline. Now I'm just going to save this. I'm not going to run it because I want to prove it. Is this going to run or not? Let's go to repos. Let me make some changes in the master branch itself. I'm going to create a new file called trigger, like automatic run is the file name that I'm going to keep it. Commit them. I'm not writing anything. Just directly commit the changes in the master branch. I committed, right? Let's go to pipelines and verify. It is running right automatically. See, it is under queue. Like this, I can make the pipelines to run automatically when there is any code change in the repository. Understood, right? Earlier, what we used to do as a developer without these pipelines, what I'm doing is if there is any code change, I used to build it manually, and I used to take the output, send it in the, like send an email to networking guy to take this package and keep it on top of the server. Each and every time, that is a manual process. Now what I have done was I created a pipeline and I included the steps inside it. These are the steps that you need to perform. When there is any code change, automatically run the pipeline. If you run the pipeline, you will get the latest output. Understood? So this is how I am going to make the pipelines to run automatically whenever there is a change in the code. I have enabled only on top of this pipeline. I want to enable on top of this pipeline also. Now tell me where what I need to do. Where I need to make the change? Triggers, and I want to run it continuously when there is a change in the which branch? Master branch. Now I am just saving this. I just saved it. Let's wait for 1 minute until this pipeline gets completed. And once this is completed, I am going to off this because again, if I make the change, these two pipelines are going to run because I enabled continuous integration on these two. Until unless this complete, again this won't start. That's why. Which one is very which one is going to work very fast? This one, right? Earlier is very small changes. This is each and every time it needs to install, build, and then publish. It is going to take a lot of time. So that's why what I'm going to do was I'm going into this pipeline. I'm turning off that option. And once after turning off, just save this. Okay, done. Let's wait for it until this completes. And see, now I want to know. I already have run this pipeline earlier, right? I want to know how much time it is going to take. How can you find it? It is showing that what is the time that is taking. I want to know how much time it has taken earlier. Let's go to pipelines, and this is the pipeline, right? Just click on this. Here you will be able to see the number of times it has run, and earlier it has run only for 56 seconds. Now it is taking more than 2 minutes. What might be the issue? You are able to see these are warnings. Warnings are different, error is different. Error means, take an example. You want to copy the files from C drive and keep it in D drive. If there is an error, is it going to copy the files from C to D? No. You want to copy the files from C drive and keep it in D drive. There are some warnings, but still it is able to complete the task or not. Warnings are like, even if you get the warnings, the task will be completed, but there are some warnings. Understood? Warning is different and error is different. And see that it is done. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, again I'm going to go to my repositories, and I'm going to add a new file saying that it is a test, something like this. Just randomly adding some files just to make sure whether the pipeline is going to be triggered or not. Go to pipelines and see this. This is getting triggered right automatically, and wait for it. What will be the output of this zip file or the files? Zip file. In that zip, if I download that zip file, will I be able to find test2 inside that or not? Test2 ఫైల్ ఉంటుందా లేదా అక్కడ? రిపాజిటరీని మొత్తం కాపీ చేసుకుంటుంది. అప్పుడు టెస్ట్2 ఫైల్ అక్కడ ఉంది కదా ఆల్రెడీ. కొత్త ఫైల్ వస్తుందో లేదో చూడాలి మనం. సో జస్ట్ ఓపెన్ దిస్ అండ్ click on this, and what, there is no publish artifact. We disabled or something. That's why. See, if you haven't used a publish artifact, then you won't be able to see the output here. You cannot use it. So that's why we just need to enable, and I want to disable this task. I want to execute all of these tasks. What I'm going to do is just enable. Now just save this. Again, I will make some change in the test file. So repo test2 edit hello DevOps. Just commit the changes into the main branch and wait for the pipeline to execute. It is executing. Once we get the output, then we will see whether we have test2 file inside the output whether we have received or not. Let's wait for it. If you want to add variables, where did you add? If you want to add the variables, where did you add those variables? Okay, now tell me. I will edit the pipeline. By after seeing that, you will be able to find. Okay, under variable section, under pipeline variables, you need to add the variable here. Okay. There is one more thing called variable loops. This is a different concept. I will explain later. Now tell me one point. I have created the variable in which project, like which in pipeline, GitHub's project CA. Whether the same variable will be available in the other pipeline? You're saying yes? Yes. How many words for it? Yes. I created a variable in this pipeline. Whether the same variable will be available in the other pipeline? What do you think? Yes or no? Okay. Here they are saying yes. No.
No, you have to create another pipelines.
You have to create another pipeline. Only variable, right? I want only the variable. Why to create a pipeline? Yes or no? N number of variables there should be. I just want to see. In this pipeline, I have created one variable called variable name. And if I go to the other pipeline, can I see that same variable here or not? No. Because the variables are limited to only that pipeline. The pipeline variables are limited to only those pipelines. So whatever the pipeline that you have defined, the variables are limited to that particular pipeline itself. Okay. Now let's see. Earlier we have run this pipeline, right? And let's see the output first. Published and drop suresh.zip, and it is going to download the suresh.zip, and once it is downloaded, I'm going to extract that file. Let's go to downloads, Suresh. I want to extract it here. Extract all. Yes, create a Suresh folder and extract everything. What I'm going to test? I want to see whether the test file is available in the code or not. Yes. See, we have the test2 file. Whether the code is also available inside the test2? Yes, it will be available. Understood? So this is how we are going to keep a continuous integration trigger on top of the pipeline. So what does the continuous integration trigger does? It will automatically trigger the pipelines when there is a change in which branch? Main branch. Now I have a requirement. The requirement is inside the repo in the master branch or the main branch, I have the folders like this. I want to run the pipeline whenever there is a change in only this folder. Is it possible or not possible? Understood the question? Wherever I create in this repository or branch, immediately my pipeline is running. I don't want to run each and every time. I want to run my pipeline only if there is a change in a specific folder. Understood? Is it possible or not possible? Yes, it is possible. Then how we can do this? Go to pipelines, and I want you to practice this. Go to any pipeline, edit the pipeline, where we will get the trigger option here. And here we have mentioned that in the branch, it should look on main branch, master branch. And here we have the path filter, right? This is where you need to specify the path as slash sample.web or something is there, right? Well, anything. Like if you go to the repo, there you can see the folder name and copy paste here. So whenever you mention the path, until unless like whenever there is a push in this particular file and in this folder, then only the pipeline will run. How you are going to make it? By using path filters. I want you to find this. I want you to use it. Okay. And I have a different scenario where if there are no, like if somebody changes anything in the future branch, I want to run it, not on the main branch. What I can do, I can add one more step and you can include the future branch. Or here I don't have future, that's why I kept develop. Remove this. Understood? So this is how you can make the pipelines to run on any branch. In that branch, if you run on a specific file or folder, you can keep the path filter. Okay. Now one more point. So whenever there is a code change, immediately my pipelines are running. That is fine. I want my pipeline to run only on Saturdays and Sundays. That means you are keeping what? Schedule. So you can do the scheduling here. When do you want to run it? At what time? Indian timings or Eastern timings or what time? You can schedule it. Like this, you can even schedule the pipelines to run. As of now, how many pipelines I have? Two pipelines. I want to make it dependency. If pipeline 1 gets completed, immediately I want to run pipeline 2. So in the build completion, build when another build completes. This is where I need to add. If the first pipeline is completed, immediately I want to run this pipeline. If this pipeline is completed, I want to run this pipeline. Understood? In the triggers option, you get all these kind of information. How you want to trigger the pipeline based on branch, based on path filter, based on schedule, and based on when other pipeline gets completed. Based on all these things, you can trigger the pipeline. Till this point, any doubts?